Welcome to Visionaries Global Media, your number one source for podcasting entertainment. Visionaries Global Media, envisioning excellence on a global scale.
Band from Ringside. Tonight on the Band from Ringside podcast, we have your all-out recap. Nigel McGuinness is going to re-enter the ring again. Drew McIntyre and CM Punk are going hell in a cell. And your PWI 500 came out. That and a whole bunch more tonight on the Band from Ringside podcast.
I have thoughts on that.
On the PWI 500?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, me too, brother.
Jesus Christ.
Ditch that 9 to 5. It's time to feel alive. Hello, Marks. Welcome to the Band from Ringside podcast. As always, I'm your host, Bill Vagey, a.k.a. Shannon Schmark. Sitting directly across from me with his own sex tape coming out soon, we have Jason Cornelius Bell. What's going on, JCB?
Rock your body.
Told you.
Rock your body right. BFR is back. All right. And on that lovely note, I'll ask the congregation to bow their heads as I read from the latest edition of the Band from Ringside podcast, volume 377, chapter 3, verse 14. And the good smart say it, hashtag boo the heels. It's all good, baby. Listen, share, subscribe, repeat. The Holy Trinity of BFR. Sex tape? I don't know. Mary might have a serious problem with that, but that's another story for another time. Kick it to that west side.
And out there in Portland, Oregon, we have Two Beers Zach Coleman. What's going on, Two Beers Zach?
BFR West is in the house.
Man, I've had a really long work week, so this is a bit of relaxation. This is just what the doctor ordered, or maybe, I don't know, he's got terrible fucking handwriting.
So we are coming at you from beautiful St. Charles, Missouri. It's very nice out here on my back patio. I appreciate you guys holding down, along with Vice, holding down the fort. Last week, I will say this. I was going to a concert on Thursday. I took the entire week off from wrestling. Did not watch anything except for All Out.
Look at you.
And the only wrestling content that I even consumed was your guys' podcast. And I was thinking, you know what? If I didn't watch wrestling, but I was a wrestling fan, this would be a pretty good podcast to listen to. These guys cover everything. They have funny, insightful thoughts about things. They have takes, They're funny. So I appreciate you guys holding down the fort. I will say that King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard was a band that I had never heard of till about 3 months ago, and I listened to a little bit of them. They have 26 studio albums. They're all about 33 years old.
Damn.
And they blew me the fuck away. They are the only band I listen to now. I am taking a deep.
I'm very jealous of that show.
It was, and they're not a sponsor, but they do stream every single show from their current tour free on YouTube when it's happening. So you can watch it. I plan on watching tomorrow night and maybe Saturday night. They absolutely blew me away, and it was nice to go see live music, something I used to do a lot more, and it's nice to be surprised by like a fully formed band and just have them immediately become one of your favorite bands. It was astounding. But anyway, took the week off from wrestling, came back refreshed. All Out was the first thing I watched. It was we're going to get into it. It was quite the change up from All In, but very good on its own merits also. But you know what? Nothing else to talk about except that wrestling. Let's get into that recount.
1, 2, 3.
Speaking of change-ups, we're going to go to Two Beer Zach Coleman for the one count. Kick it off, Two Beer.
Yeah, this is wild. Yeah.
Got your ass.
It's like when you've been married for, 20 years and, you pull something new out of the bedroom and you're just like, what? Where did that come from? Yeah.
Motherfuckers like, what are they talking about?
Here's Zach with your finger in the asshole of the week.
Whoa! Buy me a drink first, boy. Goddamn.
There wasn't any of that on this show, but I would have been surprised to see it, to be honest. We're talking about AEW All Out. There was everything else. But this opened with MJF versus Daniel Garcia, which I actually expected to open the show because we knew that Swerve and Hangman was closing. This was also a grudge match. albeit a little bit different flavor of one. But these guys definitely wrestled it like a grudge match. Overall, this match was fantastic. The big story, of course, going into it was MJF had given Garcia a pile driver off the turnbuckles, supposedly, in kayfabe breaking his neck, leading up to this grudge match. But overall, this was, pretty brutal. They did some wrestling stuff. They didn't do too much like street fighting or anything, but it was hard hitting, and they were in kayfabe legitimately out to hurt each other. MJF goes over. I don't think there's any big surprise there, but he does not look strong in defeat or in his victory. Daniel Garcia ends up, after the match is over, just beating the holy hell out of MJF and giving him the pile driver off of the turnbuckles, basically probably sending MJF off for an extended vacation. This was on a Saturday, so I did not watch any of the pre-show stuff. That's why I'm going with the MJF match first. And also because it was a Saturday, I had been at the Serbian festival, my local Serbian festival, eating good food and drinking good beer. So I watched this, but I'm a little fuzzy on the details since it was like that far away. Am I missing anything here, fellas?
No, to me, I agree with you. MJF going over, I thought was the foregone conclusion. How he was going over was the ultimate question. What kind of fuckery was he going to use, if any? The low blow obviously was the fuckery to get there, but then post-match, Daniel Garcia getting his pound of flesh definitely leaves, a question mark of, when is MJF coming back? And when he does, is he going after Daniel Garcia right away, which would probably be my guess. I would assume you'd want to extend this. Maybe we see them at Grand Slam in a couple weeks. But the physical match itself, I thought was a really good curtain jerker. MJF with a nice little pre-match intro or whatever. It felt like a main event, even though it was the curtain jerker. Daniel Garcia, I thought, looked as strong as humanly possible in the loss. And I'm talking from bell to bell. Daniel Garcia, I think, for whatever reason, kind of, I won't say just disappeared, but just fell into the getting the crowd over and popping the crowd. I think, at least I'll speak for myself, I guess I forgot how good of a wrestler he is. And watching this match in points, he did wrestle MJF out of his boots. Obviously, this wasn't a wrestling match. Both guys were out for blood for their own various reasons. Daniel Garcia getting the pound of flesh post-match makes me feel good for Daniel Garcia, because that at least is I hate to say it because he's a babyface, but it's a positive step for him and his character. He's just not going to be getting rolled over like some baby faces would in this scenario. So that's good. Having a feud with MJF is great for Daniel Garcia. So fingers crossed this is more for Daniel Garcia. But this was a really good, solid curtain jerker. I thought both guys rose to the occasion. MJF going over, not a surprise. With, like I said, the low blow just makes it, okay, motherfucker, you won, but that's how you won.
Yeah, make no mistake about it. If you're a Daniel Garcia fan, this is a great sign for Daniel Garcia, despite the loss. I mean, being in a feud, like Jason just said, being in a feud with MJF's as big of a star as they have.
Arguably their biggest.
So being in a feud with him is a big step. Putting him on the shelf is a massive step, because that means when MJF comes back, he's going to be headed straight for Daniel Garcia. So now what they need to do with him is they need to do something interesting with him in the interim while MJF is on his way back. It can't be that Wardlow shit where Wardlow beats MJF and then
where the fuck is he been?
And then Wardlow never comes back again. Like, they actually have to do something to help Garcia get over in the meantime. So that's what I'm looking for. But yeah, the Daniel Garcia can fucking go. He's a fun, cool wrestler with like kind of a mat-based style, but very quick. He sells really well, and I
like his strikes.
Yeah, his shit looks good. So yeah, this was a fantastic curtain jerker. Can't ask for much more.
No. I was getting ready to say, especially like Three Bear said, MJF either opens or closes the show, and he opened the show, and he set the bar fairly high. I won't say very high, but fairly high coming off the start. So for me, not knowing didn't see any spoilers, I was like, okay, shit, we off to a good start with this motherfucker. Go ahead, 3-Beer.
Yeah, I started it, and I was like, I got home like right at it was 4 o'clock or whatever, whenever this started on the West Coast, and I got home and I was like, all right, dope. And it started. This match opened it, and I was like, and I saw the rest of the matches on paper, and I was like, this is setting up to be an all-time, boys. So next match, Young Bucks versus Blackpool Combat Club, incarnation of which is Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta. And, you know, they're just coming off the match at Wembley. These guys are trios title champions, the BCC is, with Pac. But yeah, just coming off of Wembley where they beat FTR and the Acclaimed. The Young Bucks had short setup, you know, so there wasn't really much as far as like background to this match or anything. It was just kind of thrown together. But I mean, this was a like 4-star, 4.25 star tag team match that was a lot of fun while it lasted. And you know, no surprise the Young Bucks went over, pinning Wheeler Yuta. You know, pretty much went exactly how I would have thought it would have gone, but it did not minimize my enjoyment of the match while it was happening. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it didn't minimize my enjoyment of the match while it was happening. I never really bought into the Blackpool Combat Club winning. That kind of hindered my enjoyment of the match. But this is another thing where it's just we are spoiled, rotten fucking babies. Is that I saw this match on the card, and I was like, yeah, okay. You know, that's not the way I should be looking at this match.
No, I totally agree.
We are blessed with lots of banger tag team division action. Even when the division might seem a little bit down, the matches never are. So yeah, this was awesome.
Agree with everything you said. The physical match I thought was good. I can't disagree with, like you said, just knowing that the Bucks were going to win. I just couldn't buy any near falls, but I do agree, at least up to this point, Claudio and Wheeler Yuta have good chemistry as a tag team. So if at least them getting to this point, winning the right to, well, not winning the right, but having them as a opponent to the Bucks wasn't so right field. You know, like you said, they're part of the trios champions and obviously a part of a faction at this point. But no, this was good. It wasn't like it was. There's so many other teams that I wish could have been here. This is fine. It serves a purpose. It was basically a setup to what was to come. So for the moment, at this point, not mad. Don't necessarily understand why we did it, but like I said, it's a setup to what happens later.
Yeah, speaking of throwing together and don't care, we talked about this this match was announced, and it was just for the sickos, and I was like, yeah, I don't give a fuck about story, anything. This was Will Ospreay versus Pac. And there was a bit of a story in here. Pac had come out and attacked Ospreay from behind on Dynamite fairly recently in the interim between Wembley and this. And he had given him a Hurricane Rana. And I joked at the time that, yeah, that's what I always do when I attack someone from behind is I lead with the Hurricane Rana or the Poison Rana. And this match kind of like, you know, the story, besides the story of this is two of the most professional wrestlers, like the most talented, like pro wrestlers that are able to execute moves so crisply they look like video game animations. Like besides that, this was like who can give each other poison ranas and counter poison ranas, the most. This match had high expectations. For me, it exceeded them. Like 5-star scale, it's 5 stars. If you want to go above to show some superlatives, I could go above for this match too. Like I said, no big overarching story, just reversal after reversal after reversal after and I mean, I was buying some of those Pac near falls. It was so good. I was so invested in this match. I don't think I fucking blinked the whole time. So good.
No, this was definitely a match I was looking forward to. I know Ricochet is the guy that everybody is excited to see in AEW against Will Ospreay, but I said it last week, you know, if there's anybody that can do what Will Ospreay can do, it's Pac. And the fact that it was Aaron Neville, okay, that really set the stage for British wrestling. I know we talk about Zack Sabre Jr. and obviously Will Ospreay, but it was Neville that basically kind of set the stage for what we kind of see for.
You said Aaron Neville.
Well, that's what he was in NXT. You know what I'm saying? And then
no, he's just Adrian Neville.
Adrian Neville. I'm sorry. Aaron Neville is the black singer.
The touch, the feel of the fabric of our life.
That's great. Oh, shit. But,
true story about Aaron Neville. He came into Jack Patrick's, the bar that I worked at for 15 years. He came in there one day at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon because he had a show that night. He was shooting pool, which should tell you how long ago this was. And he put Aaron Neville on the jukebox and started singing Aaron Neville to Aaron Neville. That's the story about Aaron Neville.
Stop. No, he didn't. Come
I
on,
love that.
dog. Come on, man.
He's a real one.
That's okay.
Apparently he was cool as fuck.
Okay, I was getting ready to say that smelled a little egotistical. maybe that's just me. What was Will Ospreay? So on Collision, yeah, because Collision was first and then Rampage was second. They did a really good segment where Will Ospreay basically was saying how he has been chasing Neville throughout the course of time. In 2019, they had a match. They ended up being a draw. So now this is basically,
that match was awesome.
No,
what promotion was that? It was on
Rev Pro.
It was on YouTube for a while. No, it wasn't Rev Pro. It was.
He said he was the never open weight champion, and I can't remember what Pac was at the time. I think he might have been the All Atlantic champion, something like that. It was 2019.
It was AEW.
I want to say
no,
so.
It was the goddamn. It was a promotion that was like YouTube. It was on YouTube. It was an English promotion. It's folded since, but I would watch it every week. It was awesome. Like
Defiant.
Yeah, Neville. What's that?
Defiant.
Defiant. That's it. Yeah, it was a Defiant show. Yeah, they went to a draw.
Okay, but neither here nor there. It sounds right. I'm not going to say I'm 100% sure, but that's basically the backstory to this physical
I forgot
match.
all about it.
Yeah, and that's why I was like, oh, you know, I forgot about that 2019 match until he said it. I was like, okay, shit. Oh, but shit, fire this motherfucker up. And it hit like some kush. This was the best match of the night up to this point. Like I said, to me, you couldn't have asked for a better opponent for Will Ospreay. Just for the fact if you're going to have Will Ospreay go over, man, let's make this the most entertaining match humanly possible. If this is any precursor of what Ricochet and Will Ospreay is going to be, I cannot fucking wait. Pac, unfortunately, takes the L, but once again, sets up more shit down the line. I thought this was an amazing match. I think Pac does not get the credit that he deserves, especially when you see him in a match against Will Ospreay. You have this kind of result. Man, I don't want to say he's underrated, but maybe he just doesn't get the flowers, like I said, he deserves. I thought this was really good, really good. Like I said, match of the night to this point.
Match of the night, period, for me. I don't know how Ospreay keeps doing it. It's the age of Ospreay, like I've said. Like everybody basically knows this is that we are living in the era of Ospreay, and this match just did not disappoint. It was very New Japanish. With the many reversals at the ending sequence was fucking amazing.
That was definitely New Japan.
Like seriously, like as good as any New Japan finish, that we've seen, except for maybe like Okada Omega. But like really, like if this had more story behind it, we'd probably be talking about it as a match of the year candidate.
I would agree.
Yeah, if Ricochet can even have just a match approaching this good with Ospreay, that's fantastic. I mean, those are some fucking shoes to fill. I mean, that'd be like if Samantha Irvin had dated Braun Strowman before she dated Ricochet. It'd be like really hard to fill.
I know this isn't the visual media, but my face was like, what the fuck?
The reason that I, have such high expectations for that match is Will Ospreay. I mean,
Yeah.
I bet Zach would be into a Will Ospreay mismatch right now.
Just to see if he could pull a 4-star match out of Miz, that would be something to see.
Stop.
He could.
Man, y'all act like the Miz is the most horrible wrestler on the planet.
Not me. That's all Zach.
Put some respect on that man.
So,
But
after this match, I was like, who are the poor bastards that have to follow this match? And it turns out, and I was like, oh my God, it's Willow and Chris. I was like, of course, like they put like a women's match after it. But I forgot they were doing a Chicago street fight, and holy shit, it did not take long for them to just fucking turn up the awesome. And the crowd was into this. The crowd was not tired after going nuts for Ospreay and Pac. These women laid it all on the line. This was the best women's match in AEW this year for sure. It's definitely on my list of like women's match of the year. They just laid it out there, and I'm not normally always into like gimmicks and stuff, but this street fight was awesome. I just can't gush enough, and they've also built that up for a long time, so they're supposed to. This is a big grudge match, and there's one point where like Chris is picking up Willow or Willow's picking up Chris, and they're in the middle of the ring. They finally made their way back to the ring. They're exhausted, and they're like holding each other up. They're so exhausted, and they're like almost like crying, but they're like still angry at each other, and they're like, we gotta finish this thing. And it was just it was really, really well done. I love this match. This could have been match of the night on any other card that wasn't so filled with fucking amazing matches.
I'll go one further. I'll say it's the best AEW women's match ever. I like it more than Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa in that. I think it was a steel cage, or it was like a ladder match or something.
Patrick's Day Smash or whatever.
Yeah, it was a step to it.
I fucking loved this match, and good on the crowd and good on the performers for getting the crowd right back into it. Because like Zach said, that crowd could have easily, checked out, taken a shower. They decided not to.
I feel like I needed a shower after this.
This match was awesome. I'm a Willow Nightingale is the real deal. Chris Statlander overshot my expectations for her. She was tremendous. They did a bunch of fun spots. We'll get to the gore and the extreme stuff on this card coming up later, but I mean, doing the splits on thumbtacks ain't nothing.
She did that. I was like, yay.
Good for her.
Yeah.
No,
I'm surprised she won though.
I'm not.
Yeah, I think Jason and I both picked her, so I kind of. But this was not for the CMLL championship.
No.
Yeah, I probably should have been clued in whenever they said it wasn't for the title, because I think it was supposed to be, and then it wasn't. I was like, yeah.
Apparently, what I've heard is that CMLL did not sanction it because CMLL does not do super violent stuff. It's all supposed to be very clean and not bloody.
Okay.
So
that's
technical.
Then that wasn't this. I'll say that much. No, I had expectations for this, honestly. I mean, the story, the feud itself was good. They obviously had the friendship or whatever, and that turned sideways. They had the sit down on Collision on, what was that, Friday night or whatever the case may be. So, I mean, that just added to, more of my anticipation for this match. This was a tough, like Zach said, this was a tough spot to be in, and they executed well, and they came right out with it. I mean, no fucking around. I like both women. This is something that I would like to see a year from now for, some stakes, the AEW women's title, because you can easily plug and play these two in a feud with the title involved, and people will get invested into it. This wasn't a match that I was really high on. I was curious to see how this was going to work because both women together and separately had, extreme matches or whatever you want to call it, Chicago street fights or whatever, where all kinds of shit has came out and they've executed well. Now having them in the match together with a storyline that had me invested, this was a really good match. Like Zach said, it was one to watch, and I was very, very pleasantly surprised on how well the overall match was in a spot where they was probably not set up for success.
Yeah, it seems like they are building to that Will and Ricochet match because they had Will backstage. He was talking shit about Ricochet. Ricochet approaches him for talking shit. Ricochet not known for his mic work, but this was good. It was like a believable situation, like some beef between old friends.
Little Bill wasn't even talking shit, though. He was just being like, yeah, I know Ricochet's around here. Yeah, let's have a match. It's like, okay, Ricochet just got all pissed off.
Hey, man.
No, he has been like in the all-in presser, and then also he kind of applied it here, kind of like you need to get in line. Like he's like kind of like big timing him a little bit. Like Ospreay's being a little heelish to Ricochet. It's kind of interesting.
That was part of the setup for the Sammy Guevara match on Dynamite. Commentary was like, Will Ospreay is basically like, you got to, build your resume, build up your wins before you even talk about me. So in that scenario, yeah, if I'm Ricochet, fuck you, motherfucker. Act like you know. Do we have to keep bringing out the 20 whatever match it was in 16. New Japan? Okay.
8 years ago. That was a long time ago.
Look, man. A lot of things.
We weren't even doing the podcast back then.
Yeah.
A lot of things have happened at that point.
Was that 2016? Am I wrong in that? Or I feel like it was 2016.
No, you're right. I was bartending at like Elijah P's, and my buddy TJ, he worked in the kitchen, and he was like, dude, he's like, you see that 5-star Will Ospreay Ricochet match? And I was like, no. And he was like, you gotta watch it. And then
you were like, who?
No, he would knew. I was about to say, if any of us at that point, he would have known.
You knew who Will Ospreay was in 2016?
Yeah, I mean, like I watched like the BOSJ and stuff. I didn't watch like all the time, but I watched like G1 and stuff, and like followed those because of like mostly TJ was keeping me abreast of that stuff. But yeah,
it's gonna be a fun match.
No doubt.
Yeah. Anyway, we can talk about it now real quick. Just tie it all in. Ricochet and Sammy, really good match. Ricochet looked pretty strong. No really near falls or anything. It was very much a kind of a definite win. Sammy's just now kind of getting his legs under him.
He's a nice guy again. He's a nice guy.
That motherfucker was still getting booed a little bit. I was like, damn, he just can't leave that man alone. He's a baby face.
He's got a very punchable face. It's very hard. He's got a very punchable face and a very hot wife, and everybody knows it. So, like, he's an easy guy to hate. But yeah, fun match, though. And, I forgot how much I missed seeing Sammy Guevara. Like, there's so many guys on the roster, and there's so many people you don't see that you feel like you should. And he's been off for like legitimate reasons. He's like paternity leave and stuff. And like, I was just like, man, I was like, this fucking show is better with Sammy Guevara on it. Like, he was kind of a major fulcrum of pandemic Dynamite and stuff. Like, it was kind of nostalgic to see him wrestling again, even though he's a young guy.
Yeah, I was cool with I didn't know why Mortos got involved, but I guess Mortos is going to be Ricochet's next victory, which is fine.
Which is going to be a dope match.
Yeah, and they're setting
That's
it up.
why they sold it. I was like, okay, shit, let's do this.
They set it up with something. It'd be nice to hear from Mortos to know why he did that, but I mean, I'm not holding my breath for that.
Honestly, I mean, I would like to see more of a storyline of the why, but this is AEW. This is fine. It's very New Japan-ish. I'm okay with that. Ultimately, we know why Mortos is there, and that's fine. It's to get Ricochet the dub. the match should be good, and that's fine too. This is their reason why. It just happens quick. Tony's, you know how Tony works. Shit, it's, you know, microwave type shit. Boom, next one. Boom, next one. Stop.
Yeah. Mortos has a vanity license plate that's OMW2BYB. It's on my way to be your base. He's just the best base for those little guys. Then we had
microwave style. Yeah, I know microwave style, like Miami in the 80s microwave style.
We have the AW Continental Championship 4-way with Okada, Orange Cassidy, Takeshita, and Mark Briscoe. And this thing was fucking awesome. Like, I mean, but, like, really, look at that lineup. It's Kazuchika Okada, one of the best wrestlers of this generation. It's Orange Cassidy, one of the most over guys, and just always puts on a fucking banger, fun match. Konosuke Takeshita, the future Okada, like the best wrestler of like the next generation. And then Mark Briscoe, who just adds flavor and fun and has been doing this fucking thing and putting on fantastic wrestling performances with and without his brother for 15 fucking years or more. And
he just happens to be the ROH World Champion.
He's the ROH World Champion, yes. Which you kind of forget about. But, this was fantastic. Kind of surprising that Orange Cassidy was the one to take the pin, but then it was very good because Takeshita did not take the pin. Briscoe taking the pin would have added implications for the Ring of Honor World title. I threw in a kind of a random like Takeshita pick just because we didn't really know who the people were, so it was kind of hard like to pick. But it looks like because they are not doing that Takeshita is going to be getting that world or the Continental title match against Okada. Seems like they're going to do the singles match, and God damn it, I hope they do it for me in Tacoma whenever I'm there live, because that's going to be a dope show.
I mean, think about it. We're getting Okada to Takeshita coming off a fucking red-hot G1 performance. And Okada, who we talked about, or maybe you guys talked about last week, like he is, you know, he's putting forth as much effort as he has to, but he's enjoying his paycheck, and they're saving the big matches for, you know, big matches, it seems like. And Takeshita Okada is going to be a fucking headbanger, man. I cannot wait for that match. Super high expectations for that match, and my interest level is as high as it can get.
No, TK's definitely cooking that motherfucker up. It's on that nice little slow boil that slowly but surely, when we get that match, yeah, I'm ready for that.
I want to get nice and ripped, wait about 20 minutes, and then press play. That's the ideal way to watch that match, and that's what I'm going to try to do. Put my phone down and just enjoy it.
No, this 4-way was good, though. Don't get it twisted. I thought all 4 guys had their moments. The chemistry was good no matter who was in the ring or outside of the ring. Okada just, like I said, for me, watching him be this heel, this kind of almost over-the-top heel is still taking some use to, but I would be lying if I said it was not entertaining. I just love how it just you see the punchline coming and you still laugh. That's what, to me, makes it funny. So in that scenario, this twist on Okada is good. I agree with Zach that Takeshita not getting pinned, even Orange Cassidy getting pinned, it's fine. Nobody even blinked when I didn't even blink. I was just like, oh, damn, you know.
I'll say this about Takeshita, too. You know, fast forward to Dynamite when Callis was doing his talking for him, and Takeshita was also hanging out when Ospreay and Fletcher decided to be the tag team for the Gauntlet match, is that with no lines, Takeshita, they're doing some character building with him through his expressions and mannerisms, and also the announcers are talking about how Takeshita, you know, can tell that he was the one looked over for the tag team when Callis was doing his talking for him. Takeshita's kind of got this resigned look on his face, like, listen, man, like he knows how badass he is.
That motherfucker looks salty as fuck.
Yes, salty. Thank you, salty. That's the word I'm looking for. He
looked over at Todd Callis like, nigga, what you say?
And he's, you know, and he didn't look scared of Okada.
I fell out. I was like, man, no. Didn't give props to Ospreay. Looked at him kind of like, I will bust you in your mouth if you say something smart right now. Man, I cannot wait for this match. Like I said, this Fatal 4-Way was good. Don't get me wrong. Love me some Mark Briscoe. I wish I had more time to watch ROH, and so I could watch Mark Briscoe be the ROH champion. Like I said, for me, Orange Cassidy getting pinned didn't even make me blink that much. Orange Cassidy is about as Teflon as it gets, over as fuck, not a problem. You know what I'm saying? He, automatically, unfortunately, he's going right back to Jericho for a little bit, and that'll be fine too. Hopefully, they can get away from that for Orange Cassidy's sake sooner versus later. But, ultimately, like you said, and we said, Okada versus Takeshita is the spinoff from this. And if they can wait until, past Grand Slam, whatever's after Grand Slam, I would love to see it at that point. Shit, that would make me a very, very happy camper, because the longer we wait is the more we anticipate this match and the more it will deliver. I know it will deliver.
Sooner the better.
Yeah, I'm fingers crossed for Wrestle Dream, but you're right. Takeshita is ready for a babyface turn, and him being overlooked by Callis is just the precursor to that. Good storytelling. And, man, Okada having a lot of fun with it. You can tell he's having a lot of fun. He was doing the thing on Dynamite where he was, talking about how difficult it was, to challenge, 3 other people in the Continental Classic in this match. And he's, crying because it's, so hard, and then he's just straight faced, and he just does the flip, and he's like, no, it was easy. And then he even Callis came up and said, you didn't pick the Takeshita, and they set up the whole thing, and he even walked away. He's like, I didn't pick the Takeshita. He's like, but I will pick the Takeshita, and he walked away, and then he comes back and he says, bitch.
Say, man, hell no, dude.
So
much fun.
If Takeshita does get a babyface run, should Takeshita have a babyface manager?
No.
I just think he splits, and I don't think he's. I think he can speak some English. I just think he doesn't.
What would you think about, because his role is kind of nebulous on TV right now anyway, what would you think about Christopher Daniels, abandoning a authority figure role and taking on the babyface Takeshita manager role? I'm just sitting here thinking, it's like, man, I want the world for Takeshita, and I want him to be in the heavyweight title picture eventually, and the sooner the better. And I just think having somebody that could talk for him would help. Christopher Daniels.
Who's perfect?
Who?
Kenny Omega.
I mean, they
both have history with Callis.
That would be completely money, especially because it could get Kenny back on television.
Even if he's not taking bumps, he can still, because wrestling is better when Kenny Omega is in it.
Not disagreeing with that. The only reason I'm going to disagree with you guys slightly is this is AEW. As much as AEW is sports entertainment to a certain degree, I think AEW kind of leads with its wrestling. And Takeshita not having someone to speak for him isn't the end of the world, because he arguably is one of the better wrestlers on their roster.
It is if he's going to be world champion.
If you set up stories right, I don't think you have to really lean on him speaking English. You got to we have to understand and figure out how much English does he know, and how much can he speak fluently, and then work off of that. If it's limited, then obviously you have to do more storytelling. If he can speak fluent English, then, you can lean on him to work promos like normal, quote unquote, wrestling segments are. For me, like I said, his wrestling speaks for itself. I don't think he needs it. That's just me.
At this point, this pay-per-view, I was like, holy shit, this is shaping up to be like an all-timer. And then we had the Mercedes and Sheeta match, and holy jeez, Camille was banned from ringside, unfortunately, because she might have been able to do something here. But this thing was just not good. It was kind of clunky, and then it just got worse whenever Sheeta just kicked Mercedes right in the fucking head. And then they followed that up with another spot where Sheeta kicked her in the fucking head again. So Mercedes just rolled out of the ring. Like, it was just like, get me the fuck away from this person who has just kicked me in the head twice in 15 seconds. This was just not a good match. The crowd was dead. Maybe at this point, it was just part of the flow, but this was by far the worst match on the card, and everything else really was very good, and this was just not.
I will agree with
this was awful.
No question.
Move just doesn't work. No, it doesn't work.
No, at least Sheeta took it better than the other women have done it. Okay, at least I was like, okay, that was not bad. It wasn't the best one I've seen. It wasn't the worst. Clearly, we've seen far worse. I'm in agreement with you. Ultimately, and I've said it before, that move's just got to go. Go back to the submission move. You threw up like 4 or 5 mentions of how we can name the new move. If it can't be the bank statement, we can go with something else. Doesn't matter. I'm not as...
I forgot about that. I came up with a bunch.
Yeah, no. Not nearly as down as you are about this match. Was it the worst match of the night? Yeah, no question about that. I think we can all agree upon that. I thought we were going pretty well up until the last 7 or 8 minutes where, for whatever reason, Sheeta was trying to do the katana finishing move, and that's where it started to get clunky. From that point on, I agree with everything that you said. I will not sit up here and say that this was worse than her and Britt Baker. I had more expectations for that.
It was not.
I had more expectations for that, and that shit was a hot dumpster fire right from the start.
That's a low bar, man.
Look, I'm not saying that this match is going to, smash the standard we have for women's wrestling. Far from it. I thought, for the most part, this was good up until like I said, the last 7 or 8 minutes. That's when it started to get a little bumpy. From that point, say what y'all want. Doesn't matter, neither here nor there. Sheeta served her purpose. She served up to Mercedes Moné. Commentary said it best about Mercedes. She can do it without Camille, which is probably not the best thing you should be saying, especially this early in the Mercedes Moné run. Neither here nor there. They both were set up for a reason. Mercedes to get her over as a wrestler, hopefully to wash out the taste out of Britt Baker's mouth for that match. Clearly that didn't work. Sheeta was just set up to get that.
It's time for us to take a look at ourselves in the mirrors and ask ourselves a pretty tough question. Is it possible that Sasha Banks, Mercedes Moné, just isn't that good? Is it possible?
It's possible
that we have these memories of her being fucking really good there for a few years, and when you really want to break it down, WrestleMania match against Bianca Belair aside, she was fucking
Bailey.
Awesome against Charlotte and Bailey. And, everything else is just okay. She's a bad promo. She, she's supposed to be there because she's good in the ring, and her last few outings, you can blame it on chemistry, and you can blame it on, unwilling opponents or whatever the fuck's going on with Britt Breakker, but, ultimately, you got to have results, and we haven't seen results with Mercedes Moné. I mean, if her stint in AEW lasts another year, let's say, and we just get a bunch of okay matches, then there's no way that we'll be able to look back on this as anything but a failure.
3 beer?
Yeah, I mean, she comes across like a star, but her wrestling in AEW has been a disappointment. Maybe it has something to do with injury. I know that can get in a lot of wrestlers' heads. Also, coming back, that was a long, that was a bad injury that she had, that match versus Willow. Took her a long time to come back, so maybe that has something to do with it. I don't know. That's not my forte. But yeah, it has been lackluster, and 2 duds in a row in what are supposed to be pretty big matches. And her and Britt was kind of more of like a star versus star match. Sheeta and her, this should have been a good match. They're both supposed to be very good wrestlers.
Yeah,
So,
they brought in I mean, like you said, Britt Baker versus Mercedes was supposed to be that was a big match on paper. They built it up. They treated it like it was a big match. It got a lot of television time. The Sheeta match was supposed to be the workman rate special. You know, they're bringing in Sheeta. As great as Britt Baker is, Sheeta's better. And this was supposed to be a Matt Classic, as they say, and it just wasn't.
They need to just bring in Rio. They need to bring in Rio and have her beat Rio for the TBS title, because Rio's had amazing matches with Nyla Rose.
I don't know. I won't say what my thought was. Rio. I'm not sure on that. I kind of get what you're going with it, but I'm not sure if that's exactly the way to go. TK probably thought that the crowd would love this match and not the Willow and Chris Statlander match, and that's probably why they're positioned on this card the way that they are. The problem is Willow and Chris, brought the house down to a certain degree. This did not, and not even close to doing so. I'm willing to concede, at least in the AEW portion of Mercedes Moné's career, back-to-back matches, neither one of them have been very good. I will concede that. However, I can't sit here and forget about what we've seen before. So I get what you're saying, Bill. I do. But I can't say that she is a bad wrestler, because if she was, we wouldn't be talking about her. She wouldn't be at this point. She wouldn't be getting paid the money that she's getting paid.
She got her contract, and then, she James Hardened it.
Oh, no. No. You ain't shit.
Taking some time off. She is stealing from Tony Khan.
You ain't shit.
So next we had a match that I feel over-delivered. And maybe it was because of my feelings about the previous match, but I was like, okay, now we're back in the money here once I saw this. So Brian Danielson versus Jack Perry, which, first of all, am I supposed to believe that Jack Perry drives across the country in the same minibus that I used to try to finger girls in 8th grade?
He's heating up.
Hey, man, let that man live. Hey, man, he the scapegoat, dog. Hey, he the scapegoat.
He grew up a millionaire. He's driving around a spray-painted minibus.
Hey, man, he ain't living off his daddy's money. He the scapegoat, dog. Okay, let that man live the character. The fuck's wrong with you?
This match was a lot of fun. This was, it's a Brian Danielson match, but Jack Perry was doing really good character work. Jack Perry's a good wrestler. They had a really hard-hitting match, and I really loved the finish with the Raven pose where, there was a couple of really tight near falls there. He sold the Psycho Knee better than pretty much anybody except Will Ospreay, maybe. Just because Will Ospreay and him had that one where they hit in the middle of the ring, and it was just like the coolest thing I've ever fucking seen in my life.
That was some video game shit right there.
Yeah, but other than that, Jack Perry really sold the fucking Psycho Knee, and to finish with him with his arms splayed out like in a Christ-like pose, just basically like, give me one more. It was just like Raven in ECW. It was so cool. And Danielson hit him with the one more and got him with the 1, 2, 3. The match was awesome. The angle afterwards,
woof,
just over the top, crazy.
Didn't see that one coming. Well, actually, I
did not see that one coming.
I won't say that. I won't say that. Moxley being very coy the last few weeks felt like a heel turn was coming. I'll say that.
Yeah.
This wasn't what I was like. I'm like, what?
No.
Wait a minute.
So to give the rundown, this is not what I expected at all. To give the rundown, so Danielson just had a battle. Christian Cage's music hits. He comes down with his whole entourage.
Yeah, we've got that. Let's not bury the lead.
And I was like, oh shit. I was like, this is happening. This is cool. And even if it's not, it's a reminder that he's got this at any time. And then Moxley steps out. He's in his V-neck phase, the white tee V-neck. I had the same thing when I was a junior in high school. I was V-neck white tee was all I wore. I get it. But just took Moxley into his late 30s. But he comes out, stands in front. Then Claudio, Wheeler's Pac, everybody else joins. They stand in front. They're a united front. Danielson's laughing in the ring. So they turn the heels away. Big victory celebration. And you could almost tell the way Moxley was acting that something was up. Like, I was like, oh, shit. I was like, this is the moment when Moxley is going to turn because, like you said, he had been acting kind of strange. But Claudio was the one to initiate with the European uppercut. And Danielson's, like, shocked look on his face. And then Moxley pulls out a freaking plastic bag and wraps it over the top of his head like he's in the Rockstar, like, video game Manhunt from, like, 2003 or 4.
Deep cut.
Just wild shit. And Pat grabs Wheeler Yuta and holds him back. So there's a lot going on here because Wheeler is still, he's distraught. He was not in on this whole situation. And I felt really bad for him for like the rest of the night until I realized that he's going to have like 2 Christmases. So he's going to be okay. But
God damn, you ain't shit.
This was like a wild angle. Anyway, I've been talking for a long time, so you guys go ahead.
The match was good. Embarrassment of riches. It was really good, but this was all about the angle. I mean, the reason that it was the reason that he fought Jack Perry was because it really didn't matter who he fought. He had to fight a cream puff that nobody believed would win, so that they could get to the Moxley. Really the Moxley turn. But yeah, the Claudio turn too. I kind of thought as soon as Moxley came out there to back Christian away, I was like, I think it's gonna happen right here. It wasn't the first attempt it wasn't the last attempt at murder that we'll see on the pay-per-view card, but it was certainly it was a visual.
Yes, very much so. This was some horror movie type shit. I did not see coming. Just quick tip of the hat to Jack Perry. All bullshit aside, the post-match shit obviously is something to talk about, but I definitely wanted to tip the hat to Jack Perry. Very few guys can keep up with Brian Danielson when it comes to mat technical wrestling. I'm not saying he kept up with him, but he definitely made Danielson look good, and in turn, Danielson made Jack Perry look good. So I don't want to forget about Jack Perry and all this, even though this was one of those matches where you knew he wasn't going to win. Obviously, the post-match angle is what we're talking about here. For me, didn't see it coming. As soon as Claudio hits Danielson, I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm just processing it. The next thing you know, Moxley is holding. You got Danielson killing him in the ring. I'm watching Wheeler Yuta crying over here in the corner. I felt bad for little brother too. So I mean, the whole angle worked.
Forged in trauma.
So the whole angle worked in that scenario because for whatever reason, we're all invested in the Blackpool Combat Club, and now seeing them turn on one of their founding members was a shock to us all in some form or fashion. You know what I'm saying? Bill said you saw it coming. Okay, I ain't mad at you for it. Far from it.
Well, certainly when Moxley kissed his forehead, I was like, that's it. It's
Godfather.
Done now.
Yeah, I was about to say Godfather 2 type shit. So yeah, probably should have seen it coming at that point. I was just more of like, okay, yay, Blackpool Combat Club is back together again. But doing it this way kind of makes more sense. If you want to keep the Blackpool Combat Club name with this new incarnation, so be it. You're just ousting Daniel Bryan. Otherwise, now things make more sense. Claudio and Pac on the same page. Pat coming out on Dynamite on Wednesday.
They are
speaking to his piece. It makes more sense
Pat,
now.
Claudio, and Yuta are currently trios champions. So that shows you, sometimes they tell a story with that, but they barely even brought it up even on Wednesday night. Can we talk about Moxley's promo to open up the show Wednesday night that was cut in the parking lot after the turn? Holy
fantastic.
shit. Promo of the year?
I think Moxley, people talk about, MJF is a promo. He's got a thing. Yes, MJF can talk. Like, Jon Moxley might be like the greatest promo I've ever seen in my life, though.
I mean,
always so good.
Sometimes he cuts a promo, it's like, fuck, man. And he's been cutting, and I know I always say it, he's been cutting babyface promos for a long fucking time, man. And he really, like, it's surprising how little time he spends as a heel. And even when he's a heel, it's hard for him to get booed. But he is straight heel here, and it's going to be hard for him to get booed when he's cutting promos saying that the wheels of history are only moved by blood and diplomacy has failed, and he's quoting Mussolini and shit like that. Like that, and his delivery when he was talking about William Regal, and when he cracked that smile when he said his lordship used to call Brian Danielson the perfect wrestler, and he cracked that smile, like, I rewound it. Like, I got chills. I was like, fuck, this is believable shit.
It was so good because it talks about all Blackpool Combat Club, and not even saying William Regal's name. When he said his lordship, I kind of, stood up in my chair. I was like, oh, shit.
Our mentor. And then he called him his lordship.
I was like, oh, shit. This is coming full circle. So now that really started to get me more invested. That was a home run promo from Moxley. But honestly, what do you expect, honestly?
It wasn't very long, and it was not in front of the crowd. But, I have a hard time that's going to be the promo. For me right now, for this year, that's the promo that stands out the most. Recency bias aside, it was fucking awesome.
No, it was really good. And basically, it left me like, oh, shit, somebody's getting ready to get that ass whooped tonight after the Moxley promo to open up Dynamite. So, yeah, I'm excited to see where this goes. I would be lying if I said otherwise.
He's, legit a scary dude.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, cuck chair aside, that motherfucker
That's what makes the cuck. That's why the cuck chair joke works so well, is because Moxley would be the scariest dude to have sitting in the cuck chair.
He really would. He absolutely would. I highly recommend his book. It is fantastic. I highly recommend getting it as an audiobook and just having him read it to you, because it's Jon Moxley reading his autobiography. It's the best wrestling book I've read by a long shot.
That
he
sounds like that. I'm gonna do that right now. I'm gonna put it on my list. That sounds like a fuck. Yeah, do they have it on Libby? Nice.
It was on my Libby. I got it from the library. It took a while, but also pro tip: if your library doesn't have something, just request it. They'll buy it for you so that you can enjoy it. That's the beauty of socialism, guys. Anyway.
Hell yeah.
But, yeah, very good stuff. So he's been challenging, he's been calling out Darby Allin, and he calls him out on Dynamite, and it is, people were wondering, is he going to be a stable? Is he going to try to fight him? But I kind of was thinking that, he wants that title shot that Darby had. And so they're going to be wrestling at Grand Slam for the title shot, which is shaping up to be a fantastic card. So we got Darby Allin versus Jon Moxley for a title shot against Brian Danielson, or whoever's going to be champion, that's going to be Brian Danielson. And I can see that going either way. I think it's Moxley. I think Moxley wins it.
You think Moxley
is a pivot?
You think Moxley is going to take the title off of Danielson?
No, I think
Moxley's going to take the title shot.
Oh, yes, I think that also. Can't see Darby Allin winning that one, but I do want to watch the match.
But it really could go either way. I mean, Darby Allin,
the fact that
underdog guy.
The fact that I hesitated just reinforces that I feel like it could, if Darby won, it wouldn't be the biggest surprise I've seen in 2024. But if it's not Moxley, then what we doing? He just attacked Danielson. I mean, this kind of makes sense.
I know.
It's a bigger match, and they did the setup. So Darby will be fun, and Darby could get a match by just Danielson being like, "Hey, sorry you lost that match. I'll give you a match tonight on Dynamite." And they just do a match. Because he could do that to be a bro.
Definitely ways around it.
Yeah, but yes, and that's a way for Moxley to earn a shot, right away. So I think that's likely. Nigel McGuinness getting a shot at Grand Slam. So that's shaping up to be like Grand Slam. We have Nigel McGuinness versus Brian Danielson for the AEW World Title. We got Jon Moxley versus Darby Allin for a shot at that title. And then we've got Young Bucks versus Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher, which will probably be the tag team match of the year.
And that's, it's got Ospreay. And that's on television.
Yes.
That's just a Dynamite.
Fucking
Arthur Ashe Stadium. So it's a stadium show. Dynamite Stadium show.
Embarrassment of riches.
Yeah, that should be off the fucking chain. And I'm glad that Nigel McGuinness and Danielson is going to happen. I mean, if you're going to do that, do it now while the striking when the iron's hot. We always talk about it. Nigel McGuinness is still kind of got that buzz coming off of
talk about long-term storytelling.
Full show, okay.
Nigel's been angling for this match since he started commentary.
I mean, to tell you,
he
man,
really
all bullshit aside, he has been waiting for this moment. I'm hyped for that match. I cannot wait.
Nigel McGuinness is like, I prayed for this. So then we had the lights out match, Adam Page versus Swerve Strickland. This thing started out crazy and just got crazier. It started out with them grappling and seeing who could hold the other person's head underneath the cage as it lowers, because apparently everyone in the AEW production team, including Tony Khan, are just bloodthirsty maniac killers, and they just want to see someone's head smushed, and they are not going to stop this cage, no matter if somebody's head's underneath it or not. But
you can see them fighting in the back, like, get away from that! Get away from that!
Yeah. I mean,
my wife's blueberries, she might get decapitated.
Yes. It's a possibility. This is a possibility.
Going too far.
Very early on, pulled out a staple gun, and started to, do the staples into Swerve's chest. He's laughing it off. They do the staple gun back and forth. Swerve staples a family photo to hit Adam Page, his chest. Then he staples one to his face and rips it off. This is really just, it's a bloodthirsty match, and they played it off very well because they're just out to hurt each other. There's barbed wire being wrapped around the cage. Page realizes too late that he cannot do the buckshot lariat off of the ropes because the cage is in the way. So he ends up doing, I think actually Swerve does a buckshot lariat off the referee's back onto Page at one point. Swerve pulls out a cinder block. He does I forget that move, what it's called.
The cinder block spots were just absolutely insane, man. Like you can talk. We're gonna get to the syringe in a little bit, and if you didn't watch this and you don't know what happened, that's right. I didn't stutter and I didn't misspeak. We'll get to the syringe in a little bit, but the backbreakers are the power bombs straight onto the fucking cinder block. I mean, can't gimmick a cinder block. The chairs were gimmicked. No. You can't gimmick a cinder block, and when Swerve just pulled that motherfucker in there and dropped it on there, and it goes boom, it's like, oh shit. Fuck. And that's probably the most that you can do with a cinder block without killing somebody. I
forgot what the move's called, but he had him like upside down, and he dropped Page like on the corner of the cinder block. But it wasn't a dead eye. It was, he had him like he had his, like, they were back to back. I can't remember it. Anyway,
the dead eye is the thing where he does like a pile driver around the back.
Yeah, but it wasn't a dead eye.
It was not a dead eye.
Page, right. They were back to back, and he was facing the other way. But yeah, he dropped him on the corner, and I mean, like Rick Rude broke his back in a very similar spot. But you can immediately see Page, like, blood just welling up because that cinder block just scraped all the way down Page's spine. And then Page powerbombs Swerve later. Not only did he powerbomb him right onto the cinder block, so like the small of his back was right on top of the cinder block, he powerbombed him from the top rope. Thankfully, that was not on the cinder block, but it was still like a top rope powerbomb. But yeah, I mean, there was just back and forth, like house calls and just everything, until finally, and then he also pulled out like a piece of burnt wood. It was just basically a stake, like a wooden stake. And there was some stabbing. There was some back and forth about, trying to stab people's eyes out.
That
there
also
was some
looked,
actual stabbing.
That was rough looking.
Oh, yeah.
You know what? This match to me, it reminded me a lot of Schindler's List. And to say that it was well done, it was powerful, it was emotionally draining, and it was very unpleasant to watch. To say that you can say this match was good, I can't say I liked the match. It's not my type of match. I'm not one of those babies that's on Twitter screaming about how dangerous it is. Listen, these are professionals. They are working as safe as possible. I kept thinking that during the match. I was like, man, these guys must fucking love each other. Because you really got to trust
each other. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you really got to trust a guy to allow him to allow another grown man to do what they were doing to each other in that ring. So, it was. I don't know how they're gonna. Swerve looks like he's going away for a while too.
He needs to.
Was there anything in the syringe?
Yeah. So. I don't think so. At first, he pulls Swerve's grill out. He first pulls Swerve's grill out, and then he grabs a syringe, and I was like, holy shit. I was like, is he going to, pull out his fucking real teeth? Is he going to fucking pull out a tooth?
That's what I was thinking was going to happen. I'm like, this is getting wild.
I would have passed out.
But he shoves the hypodermic needle, through his cheek, and then he takes a steel chair, slams it on top of his head, and it's a KO. And, the best part about this match was the very, very, very end where Adam Page just can't even believe what he's done. And he's standing at the top of the ramp and he starts to go back. And I think the crowd who was I think the crowd thought that he was going back because he wanted more, he was bloodthirsty. But I think in that moment, storytelling wise, he had realized what he had become and that he had finally done the thing that he had wanted to do, and he realized what he had done to another human being, and he was kind of going back to check on him, but he stops himself. And once he stops himself, dude, the ending image of Hangman Page screaming with his eyes wide open and his hair is all crazy and he's bloody and he drops to his knees and he's just screaming was fucking wild. This was a man, it was like a Werner Herzog film. It was just, it was so cool.
Yeah, it was art.
Cherry on top of the cake, man. This is my match.
It was art.
I'm sorry. And I'll go this far. I'm not a death match guy. There's lines for wrestling. That's my line, death match. This was bordering on that line when that hypodermic needle came out. Minus that, I mean, the cinder block, obviously, that was a really rough looking spot. Like I said, for me, in kayfabe style, Swerve shouldn't be coming back for a while. Wrestle Dream should be the next time we see Swerve physically in the ring. If you want to keep him off TV for a while, that would make perfect sense, especially in a match such as this. For me, this was the culmination of a months-long feud that finally feels like this is going to be the blow-off for a moment, and finally it goes both ways. Page winning gives him vindication in his mind because now he's fucking, he's stomped out Swerve. But in the world of AEW, this match never really happened. So if you want to play that card, you can play that card at a later date too.
Yeah, I didn't think of that. I wasn't here last week to talk about those two pay-per-views, but I'll just read the scores off real fast. Was I the only one that picked Swerve? I don't remember.
Yes.
I picked Page.
Did you pick Page?
From All Out?
Yeah.
Yes.
So currently, I am in the lead with 166. Jason,
actually, take that back. I gave you that point. You have 9 points from that.
Oh, well, I'm still in first place with 165 points. Coming in second, we have Jason Cornelius Bell with 165 points. And Zach had a rough NXT. What was that called? No Mercy.
Oh, I think I got them all wrong.
No, you had Obafemi, you had Kalani Jordan, you had Roxanne, but you missed Chase U, you missed Wesley, and you missed Joe Hendry. Joe Hendry, to be fair to you, was a ballsy pick, and we appreciate ballsy picks here, but you are bringing up the rear with 161, so you're 4 back from me and Jason. So, grade for All Out?
A-.
Yeah. I was thinking B+, but I was leaning A-. I want to go with A-.
A- is all around. Zach, we already talked about Dynamite a bunch, so we might as well just knock it out here.
Yeah, there's nothing to add. All right? There was other stuff, but I don't think we need to belabor the point. We got highlights.
Yeah, I liked it when Christian Cage said he wished that Brie Bella had CTE.
That was a good line.
God damn. I'm like, man, this nigga ain't shit. Man, fuck you.
Mox's promo, we talked about Learning Tree, I guess, are going after... Oh, here's what I want to talk about. I don't know. You guys, please bring up anything that you want to about Dynamite, but I go away for 1 week, and now the Outrunners are over?
They won their first match on Collision, and then on Rampage to open up Rampage, they were backstage celebrating their first win in AEW, and Marina Shafir and Moxley beat them down backstage.
Yeah, but when they came out for the gauntlet match, they got a huge pop.
They're that, super over.
Yeah, they're that over jobber tag team.
Oh, I love that there's a new
What'd you just say?
Yeah, they're like a tag team that like is kind of like underdogs, and the crowd just is like, you know what? We're going to throw our support behind these guys.
Okay, yeah. Hang on, man. What'd you say, 3 beer? No, motherfucker.
They were quite.
What'd you say?
Oh yeah, they're over. I'm buying a T-shirt. I got one on the way.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I thought you said something about the Acclaimed. I'm like, damn, man.
He said they're the new Acclaimed.
Say fuck you.
Yeah.
No, but that's what he's saying though, is that they're the baby
A
face.
mediocre tag team, undeserved of extreme praise.
Okay, see, that's what I was waiting for.
Turbo Floyd and Truth Magnum.
I love
Jeez.
them. I love them. Them
stuff.
and Iron Savages. Roll them out
That's a better
every
name
week.
than Max Caster and Anthony Bowen.
Okay, man. All right, man. All right, you need to stop.
They don't rap.
Casino Gauntlet match. We could talk about that. And this is, I would love, and this is
Well,
kind
Will
of
Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher being number 1 contenders is big.
It kind of is. It is what it is. You know, for me,
Is what it is. It's going to be
it's going to be a great match. It's going to be a great match. I'm not saying that it's not going to be a great match. You know how I am about my tag teams. I wish they would just be a tag team. This feels like a makeshift tag team because why? It is a makeshift tag team. I wish they wouldn't have won, but they won. It's going to be a really fun match to watch. However, my point is this. We could have done this in over 2 or 3 weeks' time, build up some stories outside of GYV and FTR. And then, you know, you got some depth going. That's all I was going to say.
Yeah, I got nothing else about that except for... Nope, we already talked about it. Okay, let's get to that. 2 count.
1, 2, 3.
JCB, what's the 2 count?
2 count, we're going to talk some WWE. We're going to go over to SmackDown. SmackDown opens up with Cody Rhodes returning back to the States as obviously your WWE Universal Champion, not calling out, but obviously Solo Sikoa and the Bloodline come out. Solo is demanding he's going to be next in line, but Cody Rhodes throws us a changeup, I guess would be the pitch we're talking about this week. This week's changeup, he wants Jacob Fatu instead of Solo Sikoa, which made me kind of perk up my ears like a dog, like, roof? I'm like, oh, shit, this is going to happen, so I'm immediately invested. Unfortunately for most of us involved, Solo Sikoa has Jacob Fatu under his thumb for a moment, even though you did see a little hesitation from Jacob Fatu. I don't want to say that there's dissension early in the bloodline, but there was a little hesitation before Jacob Fatu reneged on that promise. I wouldn't say reneged, but gave the title shot back to Solo Sikoa. So now we're going to have Solo Sikoa versus Cody Rhodes in a steel cage match tomorrow night on SmackDown for the WWE Universal Championship. I thought this was one of the better segments of Cody versus this new Bloodline 2.0. I know this new version that isn't as hot as the old one is, but for me, this segment got me invested just for the fact that Cody called out somebody that I didn't think he was going to call out and made me at least think this could be down the line. Ultimately, I think this is all a holding pattern for The Rock, but we can talk about that if you want to.
The worst thing that ever happened to Solo Sikoa was Jacob Fatu coming into the company, because Jacob Fatu is like a better version of Solo Sikoa. I gotta call it like I see it. It was Friday night. I was my wife had fallen asleep. We just got done doing a puzzle. I was having a good time, and
Holla.
I was seeing it as though it was for the first time, and I was like, man, Jacob Fatu just has so much more charisma. He's more exciting. He's a better wrestler, and, you know, they're both in the bloodline. So they're both around the same age. And maybe it's just because maybe I'm tiring a little bit on Solo Sikoa, and the fresh blood in there is good fresh blood. It's a guy that I was unfamiliar with, and it just seemed like the right thing for Cody to say. It made all the sense in the world that Jacob Fatu will soon eclipse Solo Sikoa on the card, at least in terms of stature, in my opinion.
3 beer.
I agree with everything you just said, like 100%. I didn't get to see this segment. Hulu went to, like, for SmackDown, you have to, like, subscribe to their premium shit. For SmackDown now, I guess maybe it's the swap to USA. And I was like, I'm not doing that. But so I didn't get to see any of SmackDown. If it keeps up, I'm gonna have to like find another way to watch it. But
you can watch it on any of those pirate channels.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I'll just find another way. But I usually like watching on Hulu in the background on my big TV. But Jacob Fatu is such a Jacob Fatu is such a more exciting opponent. But the Solo Sikoa cage match is going to pop a rating for the first SmackDown on USA, so good for them.
Something, yeah, quick sidebar. Obviously, SmackDown going to USA starting tomorrow night. Fox, I'm sorry, not Fox.
There's no way Roman doesn't come back tomorrow night, right?
I would be a little surprised if we didn't see Roman Reigns in some form or fashion.
I'd be surprised if we didn't see The Rock.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking The Rock might come too.
I'm waiting. Rock feels more like Royal Rumble-ish time.
WrestleMania season already.
Yeah.
We just see the fucking Undertaker. They're trying to pop ratings.
Raw going to 2 hours, starting.
Now, that is huge.
That's a big deal. I'm really interested to see how Raw is going to be shown in a 2-hour block when we're so used to being. We've been programmed for 3 for so long.
It's going to be good.
Yeah, no, it's especially
better.
In this Triple H era. I think it's going to be just as good as SmackDown is now. Probably even better because of some of the people that are on Raw. I like a little more than some of the people I like on SmackDown.
That is legit great news. Like it's
only for 3 months though.
Yeah,
until they get to Netflix, right?
Yeah, and they'll probably go back to 3 at that point.
Well, then it'll be untimed, right? I mean, like
if they wanted to go longer, they could, and then
right. Yeah.
Obviously, the content would probably be a little different, but
right. So, it's them going to 2 hours. I mean, Raw is so much recap and so much filler. It'll tighten it up. It'll make it less laborious to watch it every week. And so I'm obviously 2 thumbs up from this guy.
I don't think Raw is nearly the labor of love as it once was. 3 hours is a lot. I will concede that.
There's no doubt it's better. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
3 hours, there's still a bunch of matches that don't mean anything.
Maybe now. I can agree with that. Right now, maybe
mean,
not, but maybe down the line they will. I'm willing to give Triple H the doubt.
Have fun on main event, Pure Fusion Collective.
Stop. Nia Jackson, Tiffany Stratton backstage.
I don't know why I'm talking shit to them. I like them all.
Nia Jax questioning Tiffany Stratton backstage about last week's possible cash in. Tiffany denies it, puts the blame on Chelsea Green, which leads into the Bayley versus Tiffany Stratton match. Obviously, Bayley goes over. I guess this is the curse of the Money in the Bank coming into play. Part of me did want Tiffany Stratton to win, but I guess Bayley does have to get a rematch at some point. So I guess this is the route we're going with it. Bayley winning, not the biggest deal in the world. KO and A-Town down under backstage. That leads into a match of actually a triple threat match where KO defeats A-Town down under, even though it was a triple threat match. Once again, more teasing of an Austin Theory Grayson Waller split snuffs away pretty quickly as they both attack KO post-match. Any thoughts on either or match?
Do you think
Go ahead, Zach.
Austin Theory and Grayson Waller will break up before the world runs out of water or not?
Not at this point, no.
I'm going to say no. No, I think they're in it for the long
When
haul.
is this going to happen? It's just when? Why? WrestleMania 57?
I was kind of hoping for a little bit more of a serious KO coming out of the match with Cody. Like I said, I didn't watch it the week before, but I don't know. This was all right. I like all three guys.
Galadel Phantasma with another backstage or a vignette or whatever. Still waiting for them to make me even care about them at a certain point. I like Santos, but Santos losing to LA Knight now feels like what's next for them. We'll see in a little bit. And the shocker of the week, I would say, Giovanni Vinci returns to SmackDown and quickly loses to Apollo Crews via roll-up within 30 seconds, probably less than that. I'm not sure what the hell this means for Giovanni Vinci, but I will say this. A, was I pissed? Yep. B, I need to see some sort of reason why we did this, because doing this is a signal for something. I don't know what Giovanni Vinci did backstage, if he did anything at all. We're getting rolled up by Apollo Crews that has been ice cold for a long time. I mean, he been losing with Baron Corbin for weeks, and now all of a sudden he coming off the side of the milk carton on the singles match and rolls up Giovanni Vinci, who you've been pushing for 3 weeks? Make it make sense, dog.
Well, you know, like you always say, Jason, we gotta wait to see what happens next. Was I surprised? Yes. Was I pissed off? No.
No, I was pissed.
This means one of two things. They're pulling the plug on it. Well, I guess it means one of 3 things. A, they're pulling the plug on it. B, he's just going to be bottom of the card, comedy fodder, loses all the time, which I don't think would be a terrible role for a character like this. Like, that, you can have that at the bottom of the card. Like, we don't have to push everybody to the fucking moon. Or the third option is they're going to tell a story with this somehow and spin it into gold. I'm not holding my breath for that one. Actually, I'm kind of rooting for option B.
Yeah. Giovanni Vinci wondering why he lost this match in this fashion to that opponent is like the same reason I would wonder why the hot waitress gave me her number and told me she was getting off in 15 minutes. And I was just like, oh, cool, good for you. Right, long day. And I just walk out the door. It's like, bro, you're fucking done.
He said, good for you. He's stupid as hell. Chelsea Green and beef backstage, which leads into a match. Chelsea Green with the I'm going to say a surprising win. Pleasantly surprised. Chelsea Green gets the dub. Probably leads into what happens from leading into NXT, building her up for the NXT match against Julia. I'm sure we'll talk about that here in a little bit. Melo Andrade have a vignette which leads into LA Knight, Melo and Andrade all into the ring. Basically, Melo and Andrade beefing with 2 wins apiece. Feels like the winner is ultimately going to be led to LA Knight. So I'll ask the question, which match would you rather see? LA Knight versus Andrade or LA Knight versus Carmelo Hayes?
Carmelo Hayes. An LA Knight match is more about the well, I shouldn't say this, but there can be more character stuff, and Carmelo Hayes is a better character.
I will agree for the exact same reason. Although, and also, LA Knight, not particularly well known to be a ring general, but he's been a long-time veteran, been doing it for longer than Carmelo Hayes. I think there's more benefit to Carmelo working with another veteran that's not Andrade, although I think the reps that he's getting with Andrade are great.
I will say I must be the rider of the fence on this one. If you want to have a straight, really good match, I would say Andrade. If you want to make this an angle, a feud, I would go with Carmelo. Carmelo could carry the mic with LA Knight, especially in a WWE setting where you have to be able to talk and talk well. Andrade, God bless him, he can only go so far. LA Knight can hold the stick with any of the best of them in WWE, so I'll go that route. That's just me.
All right.
Bianca and Jade, Isla Dawn, and Alba Fire vignette. It is what it is. DIY and the Street Profits backstage before their main event, 8-man tag. Not necessarily on the same page, but they all agree that the Bloodline has to go down, which leads into the main event, Bloodline versus DIY and the Street Profits. Bloodline gets the dub. I thought this was important for them to get the dub, but I will say this. I thought what they did on NXT outshined what they did here on SmackDown, if that makes sense.
Who, the Street Profits?
No.
The Bloodline?
Bloodline, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I didn't really pay attention to this. I was paying attention to NXT when that happened, though, and the Bloodline invading NXT is a big deal and a pretty cool moment.
No, the way they did it was just like, oh, shit, what the fuck is this? This felt like more of a foregone conclusion leading to the Cody Solo Sikoa match tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Bloodline, just jumping out of nowhere. This was as dangerous, quote unquote, as the Bloodline 2.0 has felt in a while. And I think that's kind of at least a part of the reason Solo Sikoa being the head of the table, so to speak, might be another part of the reason that this new Bloodline is not necessarily as hot. But I like the fact that they did come out on the NXT and just destroy everybody in their path. That makes them feel more dangerous again.
What's your count?
Yeah, I didn't get to see. I was super busy with work. Didn't get to see the NXT stuff, but seems like they're gearing up for a network switch as well. So there'll probably be a lot more of these main roster guys for their CW switch.
No doubt.
Yeah, I don't mind it just kind of, rotating, talent back and forth through all three brands, so to speak. As long as it makes sense, knock yourself out.
Make it make sense.
Raw opens, speaking of making make sense, Raw opens up on Monday night with an 8-person mixed tag, the Wyatts versus American Made. I thought Uncle Howdy would be a part of this. I'm not sure why I thought this, but neither here nor there. I thought Dexter Lumis was the one person that really stood out.
He's awesome
in all this. And this was, to me, it was a 3-beer party match special with all kinds of crazy shit going on. A little disappointed in the the women, there was just not enough between Nikki Cross and Ivy Now even to have them justifiably be in this match. Neither here nor there. I get the why. I just don't think that there was enough of them doing whatever. They were in spots, but just not in it long enough for them to be justifiably into this match. Like I said, for me, Dexter Lumis stood out the most. From that point, it just felt like this was another way to get the Wyatt 6 over. So I guess here's the question. Do you look at the Wyatt 6 any differently after this? Because if this feels like the blow-off match for them and American Made, obviously the Wyatt 6 goes over. Are you looking forward to what's next for them, or did we just spin our wheels with this? Zach, I'll let you go first.
I mean, they're just part of the show now. I'm not expecting anything special or revolutionary or anything. I feel like Bray was always trying to maybe take the character and take something to the next level instead of maybe just, it was always kind of fourth wall, and he was really just trying to, improve on existing formulas and things like that. This seems, maybe like they're just going to execute using those characters in pre-existing pro wrestling, which is totally fine. But yeah, for me, they're just part of the show. They are neither an attraction nor a detraction. If they do too much spooky stuff, there will be a detraction, but I'm fine with them as part of the show.
Yeah, I mean, Zach and I are in Simpatico tonight. That it's part of the show now. It's it's fine when they're on. I don't hate them, but there hasn't been any development in a few weeks now. So I'll tell you what, it's time for Chad Gable and the Creeds to do something different.
I couldn't agree more. I'm been praying for this feud to end because I have high hopes for American Made, whether it's the Creeds being tag team champions, Chad Gable finally getting a singles title run of some sort. I get it. You want to get the Wyatts over. Okay. Time to move on. Time to get American Made established. Ivy Now included, the whole 9 yards.
It is a bewildering feud.
It's at the point now where I'm just like, okay, I'm over it. I'm ready for both sides to move on. Wherever you guys got to go.
Bang, bang, scissor, Wyatt 6, American Made gang.
I thought you was going to try to sneak one more in there. No, that was still good. I'd say, I like the throwbacks, guys. I like the throwbacks. Finn Balor and Damian Priest have a segment in the ring. Damian Priest still obviously pissed at Finn Balor. I love Finn Balor kind of giving more of the reason why. You made me feel like a sidekick. Finn Balor ain't no sidekick. I was like, okay, see, now we're talking. Finn wants Damian Priest at Bad Blood. I'm assuming that's going to be a match if it hasn't already
it's
been
official.
made. Okay, there you go. Adam Pearce just said it. It's official. Damian Priest, Finn Balor at Bad Blood. I'm kind of intrigued to see how this works. I'm sure that this will be all kinds of fuckery, but just the nuts and bolts in the match. I think Finn and Damian Priest both good in the ring. I think this should be a good match. Bron Breakker and Braun Strowman backstage. Bron Breakker just intimidating motherfuckers everywhere you go, walking up to know everybody, not giving a fuck. Told Braun Strowman he will bounce him around if he gets the chance to do so. Jade and Bianca retain against Alba Fire and Isla Dawn. Look, I'm not saying these two need to go away, but it's time to get somebody else new in front of Jade and Bianca. At least that's one person's opinion. Speaking of something new, LWO and Judgment Day again backstage. I do love Ray and Dom beefing, but I don't want to see LWO and Judgment Day around it. Just let's focus on these two. Dom and Ray make me interested. I'm not interested in the rest of at least the LWO. I do like Judgment Day. I would be lying if I said otherwise. Am I tripping to see, is this more of the same thing with LWO and Judgment Day? It feels like we've been down this road before. I know we can milk the Ray and Dom cow again, but it feels like we're milking it for unnecessary reasons. Am I tripping?
No, you're not.
You don't want to see Carlito versus Elena Vegas?
I was saying, Shannon Sharp just entered the chat.
I mean, this kind of doesn't do a lot for me. Like you said, we've seen it before. Dom's so much more interesting that now that him versus Ray wouldn't be the first thing that I want to see.
I couldn't agree with you more. Couldn't agree. I was just thinking about Dom the other day. He's
what
such
about Uncle Howdy being mad that he's kissing on his fucking wife or girlfriend? You know,
wait, is Bo Dallas and Liv Morgan together?
They've been together for a long time.
Oh, hell no.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
Fucking journalist over here, man.
Yeah, he's scooping you.
Scoop.
He's scooping you.
He scooped me.
He's scooping you. What's up with that? Yeah, I would be a little, perturbed if Dirty Dom was snuggled up with my boo-boo, but that's why I like Dirty Dom.
They should have Liv Morgan join the Wyatt 6, but she thinks she's Alexa Bliss.
I just thought about that. I thought the exact same thing.
Hot take. Dom Mysterio has his own faction in 2 years. That's ultimately where I was going with this. He'll be leading his own shit.
And it's just a harem of bitches. Feed them kidneys.
I love where your head's at. Brett,
it's just all those blonde-headed gals at NXT that all look and sound the same, and you can't tell them apart.
Oh, yeah. There are a ton of them.
Oh, no.
Like Izzy Dame and Carmen Petrovich and fucking... There's the one chick, Harley Bright.
There's like 5 more.
Yeah, I know. There's the one chick that's exactly like Thea Hale, and it's like, is that your thing that you're supposed to be just like Thea Hale?
I didn't think of that until you said that.
It's like
Sol Ruka,
Spaceballs.
God bless her. She's another blonde.
Sol Ruka stands out.
She does stand out. I mean,
she does.
Yeah, but in that theme of blonde women, Sol Ruka definitely can jump into that.
Sol Ruka did straighten her hair one week, and I was like, what are you doing? Because now you just look like all the other ones.
Yeah.
Nigga, true story. Bret the Hitman Hart appears on SmackDown, being in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. And
wait, I just want to say that the Finn promo was fantastic. It's fun to have him out there cutting promos again, and I'm looking forward to him versus Priest quite a bit. And Bron Breakker talking to Braun Strowman in the back was fucking awesome.
I'm like, whoop his ass, Bron Breakker. Whoop his ass.
He's got a hold of his character, man.
Oh, my God. He doesn't give a fuck who it is. I'm going to whoop your ass. I love it. He better hold on to this title for a hot minute, the rest of the year at the bare minimum. Hitman comes out for his segment coming back home to Calgary, Alberta, Canada, and Gunther arrives, and I'm thinking to myself, please don't kill this man. Just don't hurt him. But he did hurt him. It was just with the words. When he said that Bret Hart was the number 2 wrestler behind Bill Goldberg, I about fell out my goddamn chair.
It was perfect.
It was the perfect line for the perfect guy in the perfect moment.
Didn't Bret Hart kind of talk shit about Gunther after some pay-per-view last year or something? I think that Bret Hart criticized Gunther, so I think there was like a little bit of story there.
If so, even better.
What you think, Zach?
Oh man, this is fantastic stuff. This is like it's getting Gunther over even more, and like they didn't make Bret Hart out to look, a lot of times, sometimes, and maybe it's just because it was a Vince thing. Vince would try out the legends, not Stone Cold and Rock and those guys, but like he'd try out the other legends and they wouldn't look good. Like he would like humiliate them or, have the other wrestlers trying to look good by humiliating them. They did not do that with Bret.
Or beat him like a legend at WrestleMania.
yeah. But he was in on the joke. Like Bret like was corpsing during this. Like he was having a good time.
Sami Zayn obviously comes out to defend Bret Hart, challenges Gunther again. Gunther gives him the Heisman. Obviously, I think we're going to get this match probably at Bad Blood, but I don't mind the fact that Gunther is not ready to accept the Sami Zayn challenge for obvious reasons. You don't necessarily want to face the guy that has that dub, the one of the few dubs on you. If you're Gunther, you don't want to do it right away.
This was
Also, he just fucking lost the Intercontinental title. Like get in mine, brother.
True story too.
This was the first time I've ever looked. This is the first time I've ever looked at Bret Hart and thought, "Oh fuck, he looks fucking old."
Mm-hmm.
He looked fucking like when they showed him walking backstage. I was like, "Oh, that's an old man."
Yep.
I'm glad he still gets out there. He never seems all that comfortable. He did look like he was having a good time out there Monday night, though. He always kind of acts like he doesn't want to be there.
Yeah, I feel like he acts like that everywhere he is, though.
Yeah, I mean,
Bret Hart.
Yeah, he's a curmudgeon.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say, you paying me, right? All right, fuck it, I'll show up. Pete Dunne, Bron Breakker have a little beef backstage. No big deal. Obviously, we've talked about Bron Breakker just making the rounds. Dom versus Dragon Lee. Dragon Lee getting the surprising win, but then obviously Judgment Day beats Dragon Lee down post-match. Lyra, Natty, and Selena Vega. Natty returning back to WWE, I'm assuming back under contract and wrestling again. They beat the aforementioned Pure Fusion Collective. That leads into Drew McIntyre coming out to troll the crowd, but unfortunately things kind of backfire on Drew as Adam Pearce comes out to announce that he and CM Punk will have one more match at Bad Blood in a Hell in a Cell match. So obviously Drew winning at SummerSlam, Punk winning most recently at the last PLE, both sides at 1-1 apiece. Who do you want to see win? Who do you think will win?
Zach, I mean...
Drew and Drew.
Yeah, I mean, it's Drew and Drew.
I'm going Drew and Punk. At some point, I think Punk's going to be leading towards Gunther. I don't think they just threw that Gunther shit out there just to throw it out there. That's just me.
Man, I would be surprised if McIntyre didn't go over.
I would be mad if McIntyre didn't go over. Obviously, wearing the shirt, that would piss me off, but neither here nor there. I'll go this far. If the beefers were today, it would be Gunther and Drew as WWE Wrestler of the Year for me, and I would still lean Drew.
If does the winner of the Hell in a Cell match go on to face Gunther next? Is that the way you think it's going?
There's no stake to it.
No, I know, but I'm asking you just, is that what you think is going to happen?
In my mind, like I said, when Punk was cutting that promo about wanting Gunther and, facing him now, I don't think they do. Triple H doesn't do this for no reason. They don't just drop nuggets like that. At some point, I think we could all safely assume that Gunther goes over Sami Zayn. Now what? CM Punk makes sense.
Zach, same question.
Yeah, I'd say either one of those or did Gunther wrestle Finn on did they do a Raw match?
We talked about this a while back, and they were going to wrestle, and then the pandemic hit, and they didn't wrestle.
Yeah, we covered this. They did have a Raw match.
No, I mean they haven't. But did they do? They did it on Raw.
They did it on Raw. Yeah.
Okay, because I was like, because if Finn beats Priest, I could see Finn getting a match in like a similar fashion. But
that would
just as Priest is the recent champion.
That's actually what I would be rooting for. I would want to see Finn versus Gunther. 2 heels though.
2 heels. Drew 2 heels.
But I mean, they can kind of play with that. Like they played with it with Gunther and Priest to perfection. They had Priest was kind of a tweener, but they had him play more of the babyface. He fought from under during the match, and they had Gunther go heel. Like they can tweak it a little bit. They did that very successfully
in that scenario
in the build up to SummerSlam. So they can do it.
Fair, completely fair. Didn't think it would be like that, but we'll see what happens. I'm once again curious to see what happens. Interested to see how the Hell in a Cell match unfolds.
I tell you what, I would like to see Drew win it, but if Punk won it, I understand if he's going to wrestle Gunther. If he does wrestle Gunther, I would love for Punk to just get the shit beat out of him, and then Punk like put him over like in a promo afterwards and being like, I don't even want to rematch with that dude. Like, good luck to whoever goes on, and then like Punk's going to do something else because like Gunther's just like such a monster. That'd be pretty fun.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I would be surprised if that happened. To be perfectly honest, maybe that's just me.
Yeah, it's never gonna happen.
No, they say to put him over like that. That's just. I was surprised that Randy Orton and Gunther shook hands. I can't, CM Punk, tipping a hat like that. I would be very shocked to see that.
Orton's pretty old school too. That was a super old school thing for Randy Orton to do.
Completely fair. New Day backstage. They're going to a tag team title match next week against Judgment Day. Odyssey Jones, obviously conspicuous with his absence.
Okay, so what happened? What did I miss?
Apparently, and I'll go with the supposedly part of it because I never really dug into it. WWE quietly released Odyssey Jones due to some domestic abuse allegations.
No shit. And so now Kofi and Xavier Woods are all they're just all buddy again, and it's time for the New Day to go again, huh?
No, there was Xavier was like, I thought we were going after singles titles, but we can go after tag team titles. They kind of put their own little kayfabe style spin on it, and then moved from there.
Well, I'm back to not caring.
So if Xavier Woods turns on Kofi in that tag team match, you still wouldn't care?
No, then I'll care, I guess. I don't know. I really like the Odyssey Jones thing. They should replace him.
Ooh, who?
What's Biggie Langston
Who?
doing?
They got to have another black guy in NXT.
Stop.
They got to.
Y'all ain't saying shit. God damn.
Or they'll fucking throw Eddie Thorpe up there be like that.
Good black man's chin. That motherfucker looks Native American.
What's that Chris Rock thing about the Native American parade? He's like, those are two Puerto Ricans at the end.
Rey Mysterio.
Can't dress up no Puerto Ricans like Indians.
Chris Rock ain't shit neither. Rey Mysterio wins by disqualification over Finn Balor after Finn Balor refuses to break a hold of the submission move, tearing up Rey's leg, beats down Rey post-match after the fact. Once again, I thought, unfortunately for Rey, good use for Rey getting beat down by Finn, makes him look a little more dangerous leading up to the Damian Priest Bad Blood match. Ilya and Jey Uso bumping the Bron Breakker. I thought this was, to me, one of my favorite interactions with Bron Breakker because Jey Uso quietly bumps into them. It doesn't say anything. Nice little eye stare leading into the main event match. Jey Uso versus Ilya Dragunov versus Pete Dunne versus Braun Strowman. Winner gets the shot at Braun. I'm sorry. Yeah, the winner gets the Intercontinental Championship match against Bron Breakker. Story for me here, the return of Bronson Reed. Bronson Reed literally just comes out of nowhere and just splashes Braun Strowman to basically effectively take him out of the match. For me, I was pretty sure Jey Uso was going to win, but I was kind of waiting for Braun Strowman to get attacked by Bronson Reed, which they did in this manner, basically taking him out the way that he took him out a couple weeks before, jumping it off of him onto the car. I thought this was a good way to probably lead into a Bad Blood match. Hopefully this all leads into Bronson Reed going over. One of the things that I will say about this, one of the reasons I want Bronson Reed to go over, there feels like there's a lack of really dangerous heels in WWE. You have some. You have the Gunthers of the world, but then you need another one, maybe even a third, to really feel like, a title, whoever is the champion, world champion on either brand, there's somebody else that's always,
Bron Breakker's a dangerous heel.
Right now he is. Unfortunately, he's a mid-card champion. That ain't going to last long. As soon as he drops the title, they'll move him up.
But Gunther elevated the title.
Agreed.
He's not mid-card. He's upper mid-card.
Fine, whatever you want to call him. Okay,
I'm picking nits.
Okay, he's a mid-card champion, unfortunately, at this point. When he does move up, you'll have that mega heel depth. This would, to me, it served two purposes. You get the Jey Uso Bron Breakker match that they've been teasing to, but this is the chance to elevate Bronson Reed over Braun Strowman, making him look strong and making him feel like the mega heel that I've been waiting for him to be since he become sent to WWE.
Zach, who are you rooting for in this match?
I mean, with Braun, I like who was I rooting for the 4-way?
Yeah.
Oh, Ilya. Just because I thought that would be a lot of fun recapping another NXT rivalry. But I think Gozer did a great job with the IC title. Sammy as well. Braun's doing a great job. That IC title means, as much now as I feel like it did whenever I was a kid. I never saw it as a mid-card title or a secondary title. It was just another championship, and an important one. And I think that they've gotten that back. They have not done that with the U.S. title, but they have done it with the Intercontinental.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, so I think that Braun's going to beat Jey.
Agreed.
But I think they'll fight more than once.
Oh, yeah. Jey does not need a belt.
No,
Jey would be a great Intercontinental champion, but, what does he need that for? He just doesn't.
He doesn't.
He's not going to sell any more merch or anything.
He would look good with that championship, though. That championship makes sense on him, though, also. I'm not saying he's going to beat Breakker. I'm saying I can see him holding it in the future.
With the U.S. title on.
Yeah.
I can see it. Yeah, I can see them being the U.S. champion.
They just know that they have big WrestleMania plans. They have big lead up to WrestleMania. They got Survivor Series coming
yeah,
out,
I was getting ready to say Bloodline versus Bloodline is obviously one of the rumored matches, so maybe they're just holding him in pattern too.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens.
I think Jey and Damian end up with or Jey and Damian, or maybe even Jey and Sammy end up with the tag titles.
Yeah, I mean,
against Judgment Day, taking up from Judgment Day.
Just throwing it out there, and then we can move on to whatever you want to have as the 3 count. Motor City Machine Guns, Lucha Brothers. One of the two, at least, Motor City Machine Guns, for what I've read, they're on the way. They're signed. It's just a matter of plugging them in.
Really?
Yeah, they're going to WWE for everything I read.
Now?
That's going to be a really good NXT match.
Lucha Brothers.
They're getting the Motor City Machine Guns in 2024?
From what I've read, it's basically done.
I mean, they can...
I really think they're going to NXT, though, to, be veterans and coach and stuff. I don't think they're going to main roster at all.
Oh. Well, that would be kind of weird, too.
Would it?
I guess. I mean, maybe not. I mean, they're pretty old, right?
Like AJ's age.
That's pretty old, man.
It's pretty old.
Yeah.
Lucha Brothers is the other team that I was going to throw out there
just
as
for
well.
Life, man. Just for life.
As a team that could be WWE bound. I'm not necessarily saying that if they do go over, they win the tag titles, but once again, this feels like a plug-and-play scenario where if they did go over and you did put them on the main roster, it would be hard for me not to see them as tag champs on either brand, however you want to slice it or dice it.
AJ is a full
Dragon Lee. Lucha House Party.
Oh, stop. Stop it. Stop. See, you stereotyping, man. There you go.
AJ was born in 1977, Alex Shelley 82, and Chris Sabin 83. So he's a little bit older than them. Okay, I got to pull up this fucking... I thought I had this PWI 500 pulled up. Hold on a second, everybody. Jason, do an ad for F&B Eatery.
F&B Eatery on the corner of...
Is F&B Eatery open?
No, it's not.
I'm not trying to... I wasn't trying to be mean.
No, it's not, unfortunately.
No, I just don't live in the city anymore, so I was just curious.
No, I know, but that just makes me feel like I was being mean.
No, it's called filibustering, my brother. It's called filibustering.
Jesus Christ.
Speaking of things on Libby, I subscribe to Pro Wrestling Illustrated on Libby. I also get the New Yorker, the Atlantic. It's really nice. all delivered as soon as they're released.
I
Thanks to
have
my
it.
library.
I got it. I got it right here.
Okay, all right. So let's get to that 3 count. I gotta be really close to it. Maybe it's not up here. All right, so the 3 count, the PWI 500 came out this week, or came out today maybe. But let me read to you the top 10. We got Cody Rhodes at number 1, Swerve Strickland at 2, Ospreay at 3, Rollins at 4, Naito at 5, Damian Priest at 6, MJF at 7, Jon Moxley at 8, Gunther at 9, and Mystico at 10. Zach, we'll start with you.
Okay, so hang on. What?
Okay, Jason.
What? No. I'm not saying I want to start. I'm saying what are the parameters of this? Is this based off of what has happened this year in 2024, or are we doing it like they've done it in pro wrestling illustrated lists in the past, where it goes from August of 2023 to August of 2024?
I don't have the parameters in front of me, but it is something like that. It starts in the summer and ends in the summer.
Okay, so
Yes.
let's go with that. Zach, you can
August
start.
1st, 2023 to July 31st, 2024.
That's the
Evaluation
standard.
period.
Okay.
Here's the primary criteria: in-ring achievement, so win-loss records, championships, and tournaments; influence, which is visibility and prestige within the promotion or industry; technical ability; competition, which means success against the most varied and highest quality opponents; and activity, minimum 10 singles, non-tag matches total, or barring that, 6 such matches in separate months. So that's the rundown.
So what jumped out to you, Zach?
Swerve being number 2 is awesome. He had a great lead up to his championship win, and he was like the most over guy in the promotion, and it's really cool to see him recognized as such. He's the most over guy last year in the number 2 promotion, and he's number 2 to the most over guy in the number 1 promotion. That makes sense to me. Naito being number 5 was interesting just because he had some wins. He was champion. He's the most over guy in the promotion, but man, that seems high. But I don't take a lot of stock in these. I think it'd be very fun to put together in a kayfabe scenario, but
it's not all kayfabe, though. That's the thing. It's not all kayfabe. And what surprises me when I look at this list is there's no Roman Reigns. I mean, if it's summer to summer, Roman Reigns held the belt until April
Of this year.
it's pretty interesting that he's not in the top 10.
And had a massive build. It was an event.
Maybe it's because he just had so few matches.
That's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah. While we're at it, I went to Twitter to try to find the top 10 because it seemed easier than Google at the moment. And the first tweet I see is some dickbag saying, PWI 500 top 10 is out. Have fun bitching about a kayfabe list again. Have fun bitching about a kayfabe list yet again, like the petulant goofs you are.
Aren't you complaining?
This is why I don't get on fucking wrestling Twitter, man.
Aren't you complaining?
It's like it's a bunch of fucking people just yucking your yum, man. And they're marks too. I hate it. It just makes me feel so bad.
Do you want to take a guess of where Roman ended up?
16.
12.
I'll let you know when I find it because I am still scrolling. I'm looking. He's not at 11 through 20. So
Priest at 6.
Eddie Kingston is higher than Roman Reigns.
I mean, that seems like somebody's got an axe to grind.
Okay.
I feel like this has to be an oversight because he's not in the top 40.
I mean, Seth Rollins is higher on this list than Roman Reigns? What kind of fucking sense does that make?
The World Heavyweight Championship run has to be considered into this, I'm assuming. Basically establishing it and carrying it to this point. There's got to be some merit to that. Now, how much stock you put into it, I'll let you decide on that. Naito is the one. I'm sorry. I am so sorry. That blows my motherfucking mind. There ain't no way you can sit up here and tell me.
He won the G1. He won at Wrestle Kingdom. I'm just making the case.
Man, no, that ain't enough. That is not enough. I am sorry. That dude
Don't shoot the messenger.
Look, you just going to have to take one in the kneecap, man. You be all right. Walk it off. Man, no, he shouldn't be on this list. I'm sorry.
So Roman did not wrestle enough matches in the evaluation period. He's not on the list at all.
Okay. All right.
Come on, man. And Naito's at 5. Okay. Tell it how you want to tell it.
Where would you put Roman?
He's got to be in this top 10. I mean,
yeah.
Now where you want to put him, I'll let you tell it. For me, I don't have a problem with any of the top 3 guys.
He was the top star in the top promotion for the entire year.
I would put him at number 5 where Naito is, and then bump number 5, or bump Naito out of the top 10.
Okay, that's a nice starting point.
I gotta say, Damian Priest at 6 just seems weird to me.
No, I was getting ready to say the WrestleMania win. I mean, he cashed in. He won the title. He is a world champion. Not too much I could say too much around that.
Yeah. Where's Logan Paul? Was Logan Paul on the list? Did he wrestle enough?
He is on the list. He was pretty far down though. Here, I can open this up. Do you guys want to hear?
Just do 11 through 20.
Through 20?
Yeah.
All right, 11 through 20. 11, Samoa Joe. 12, Sami Zayn. 13, Drew McIntyre. 14, Brian Danielson. 15, Moose. 16, Sonata. 17, Jey Uso. 18, Bill Veggie's favorite wrestler, Hio del Vikingo. 19, Mustafa Ali. 20, Eddie Kingston. Mustafa Ali, number 19, that stands out to me.
NXT, not NXT, I'm sorry, TNA X Division champion. Moose, obviously, I shouldn't say obviously, he won their heavyweight title. So neither one of those, for me, I'm just glad that TNA got guys in the top 20. So, at least says that somebody is watching that, I can't say I watch every week, but I would be lying if I did not say I watched Josh Alexander versus Nick Nemeth, the hour-long Iron Man match. If you haven't watched it, I thought that's a pretty good watch.
Nick Nemeth versus who?
Can I just watch the last
Josh
10
Alexander.
minutes?
No, you can, but it's kind of like in this scenario, it feels like a New Japan match. You probably want to go like 15, maybe 20 minutes back.
All right,
and
look, I obviously know who Mystico is. It's not like I don't know somebody who's not in the top 10. Like Vikingo. I know who Mystico is, but why is Mystico number 10? Is he the AAA champ?
He's CMLL. He's the biggest star in Mexico, and CMLL is hot. They sell out Arena Mexico every single Friday night. Well, they don't sell out every Friday night, but they sell out some Friday nights. But they fill an arena, in the same arena in the same city every Friday, and he's the biggest star, and it's the oldest promotion currently running in the world.
Well, him being above Vikingo on this list is criminal.
Uh-oh.
How you gonna do my boy like that?
I mean, to tell you, man, I was about to say, I was waiting for you to speak up. I thought he was, all bullshit aside, I thought Vikingo was hurt for an extended period of time, and maybe this fell into that evaluation period of their year-to-year evaluation. So that might have something to do with it. I'll lean towards Zach's explanation of things, where Mystico is their biggest star of the oldest promotion, so it kind of makes sense for him.
I wonder
to
if
be
Ospreay
represented.
has tweeted at Rollins yet about being ahead of him on the list. That was Ospreay, not number 1. I mean, I guess
Ospreay's matured.
Yeah.
Look at him, unbelievable. Cody winning WrestleMania is a huge fucking deal. I mean, that's all we talked about.
I mean, Cody's the only number one.
Pleasantly surprised that Swerve at 2 was him being ahead of Ospreay, but having the kayfabe head-to-head win is a nice little tiebreaker. Ospreay at 3, no problem with that. Now, if you want to be banging the drum for Roman Reigns, 4 might be the start of it. Definitely at 5. He definitely usurps Naito. I don't give a fuck what nobody says.
It's silly that Roman Reigns isn't on the list at all.
The evaluation is what it is. I mean, it's not enough matches. Do I get it? Yeah. Do I agree? Hell no.
All right. Any other?
It is funny. In 2023, they did. I think it was 2023. I think it was last year. They left Naito off by accident.
Right.
Which is why I thought it'd be really funny if they left Reigns off by accident.
Leaving Naito off by accident is a real feather in the cap. That's going to do it for our 3 count.
1, 2.
I remember a year ago, I was so pissed off about that. Now, a year later, I'm just like, how's he at number 5?
I know. I mean, that's true. You turned on your boy.
I did, man, like a motherfucker. I'm sorry, it's justified. He has not been good this year.
So we talked about the Bloodline getting involved in Axiom and Nathan Fraser versus Street Profits. Are Axiom and Nathan Fraser a proper tag team?
They have won me over. Yes, they feel like a good tag team. Them and the Street Profits had a really good curtain jerk on NXT. I was a little disappointed that the Bloodline broke it up, but ultimately I was glad for them because the Bloodline needs some heat on them. So yeah, I think yes, they are a proper tag team.
I liked the match that they had with the Street Profits. Also, Nathan Fraser just
he can go.
He can fucking move, man. He is fast. Did you watch
That boy
NXT, Zach?
fast.
That boy fast.
No, but I will. I would have. I've been watching it, but I had a stupid, crazy work week. I watched Dynamite up until the gauntlet match ended about 30 seconds before you called me.
So, Evans fights Dempsey for the Heritage Cup, and Tavion Heights comes back. Jason, do you know who Tavion Heights is?
Yeah, actually, he was over in Japan wrestling in Pro Wrestling Noah's N1 tournament, the equivalent of the G1 from New Japan. Apparently, he had some good matches. I think he beat one of their top stars in Keno. So there was a lot of buzz for him coming back, and I was thinking to myself, watching this match, well, I mean, wonder where Taylor Heights is coming back tonight. And obviously, he got involved in the match to help Charlie Dempsey go over. I have a lot of expectations for Tavion Heights. He has obviously a wrestling background, which would help him immensely here. He has the look, he has the size, so it's there to be had. He's just got to get that push.
Hammerstone comes to job out to Obafemi. Is he just Hammerstone now? He's not Alex Hammerstone?
He is just Hammerstone now. I'm sure that has a lot to do with the fact of him leaving MLW and them having some sort of copyright over the Alex Hammerstone name. Neither here nor there. I was pleasantly surprised with this. The last person I thought, but a little disappointed because I like Alex Hammerstone a lot. I didn't want to see him job out to Obafemi, but I get it. You know, you gotta build Obafemi up. This was the way to do it. It was a crossover between brands. Obviously, we saw more of that with Wesley and Zachary Wentz later on in the show or whatever. So I mean, the crossover is working because now I feel like if I don't watch Impact, I'm missing something that comes back up on NXT, and I'm like, what? How this happened? I'm getting mad. So for me, it's working.
Jordan Grace versus Sol Ruka. They get interrupted by Rosemary and Chu.
No sense at all.
Wendy Chu is one of those people that shows up on pro wrestling where I'm like, oh, fuck, why am I watching this? But and then finally, Trick Williams wins the last man standing match against Pete Dunne. Ethan Page is there at the end. Were you surprised at this finish?
No, just wish the match would have went longer.
All right, that's going to do it for our odds and ends.
Man from ringside.
Very short week of birthdays this week, but we do have some birthdays this week. Happy birthday to my mother. She turned 70.
Happy birthday,
Janine
Mama
Beggy.
Beggy.
Road Warrior Animal turned 64. Yes.
Yeah.
Baron Corbin is turning 40. Teddy Long, holla, 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 holla.
Let me holla at you, girl.
77. Adrian Adonis
R.I.P.
would have been 70. And Jim Cornette, talk about, he is bitching. He is somewhere bitching about the PWI 500 like a petulant little baby that he is. Hey, everybody. We know there's tons of podcasts to listen to, so we appreciate you guys listening to our podcast. For Tinder Mahal, go check out his show this weekend.
Check.
For Lucha Chris.
Check.
For Murray the Murray Man Murray. For
Check.
Patriot Pet. For
Check.
Brett Jagger.
Check.
For Vice.
Check.
For Two Beers, Zach Pullman.
Check.
For Jason Cornelius Bell.
Konnichiwa,
I am
bitches.
Bill Vagey.
Check.
Black Lives Matter.
Check.
Support your local weed dealers.
Check.
Support your local restaurants.
Double check.
Give your parents a call.
Check.
Free fucking Palestine.
Triple check.
And never, ever forget to boo the heels.
Boom!
Shut up, bitches.